Is it better now? Better? Yeah, better? Okay, cool. It's better. Yay! Or another day. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. If communists want tech issues. I'm so sorry. I've let down the motherland. How is everybody today? Yeah, this is one of my new shirt designs. And I was like, you know what? I want to try it on. I haven't worn it yet. So I'm doing it. It's not my normal style. It's something that, it's one of those things that's like, it was fun to design, but it's like not a thing I'm going to wear every day. And I don't do those a lot. So I'm trying to make myself wear it. You know? I'm working on it. Okay. Hello. It is Vampire Valentine's Day. So it's Monday. I'm excited to talk about the news with you all. Everything that happened over the weekend. For you guys who are over here, I still have TikTok pulled up. So for you guys who are over here on TikTok, this is a part where we encourage you to come join us on Twitch. Twitch is a better platform for streaming, I think. You could tell it was designed to stream, versus here you could tell they just added streaming as a feature afterwards. And you know what? I think that you are correct, AJ Ladies Man. A lot of people have been asking for that, so I will in the future. Yeah, come over there. It's a better platform for streaming. I can show information on screen. I can show evidence on screen more. Here, it's very, very challenging for me to show info. You can only use the green screen feature, which is really buggy on my phone, and it crops everything weird anyway, and you can't search for things in real time. I can answer your questions more easily, and we can have a conversation together. And that's really what we do over on Twitch. So over on Twitch, is current events. So we look at the news every single day. And you can ask questions. If you're new to communism or socialism and you want to just check it out and see what it's about, you can come on over. People are really, really nice as long as you're not weird. Don't come in and say some look, here's the thing you have to remember is that communists throughout history have been tortured, killed, dropped from helicopters from their beliefs. Teenagers who were suspected of having too communist leanings were hunted down by governments and murdered. Millions of people in towns with too many communists have been slaughtered. When you dunk on communists, you're punching down on people that are actively being targeted by major powers all around the world trying to murder them a lot of times. So if you come in with some really aggressive anti-communist energy, people will get very, very cagey about it, right? And they won't like that. But if you come in just like, oh, I don't know anything about communism. I heard this. I'd like to learn more. And you're nice. People will be really, really nice to you. So that's just something to remember. Like hating on communists is punching down, right? Don't do that. But as long as Jakarta method is a great reference point. If you're not familiar with all the anti-communist methods or actions that have been taken around the world, that's a great place to start. Your TV earrings came. Yay! I hope you like them. Which ones did you get? So come on over and we can teach you about socialism. And the thing is that the communists, first of all, we think you deserve a better life, right? We think you deserve housing, healthcare, education. We think you deserve a dignified retirement. We think you deserve a 4-day work week. We think you deserve paid time off work. We think you deserve to be able to have a family if you want, without having to worry about money. We think you deserve free childcare for your family. We think you deserve maternity leave, paternity leave, gender neutral parental leave. We think you deserve all these things. We think if you come from a marginalized or oppressed class here in the United States where I live, especially if you're a Black American, if you're an Indigenous American, you deserve the right to self-determination without a bunch of weird white colonizers telling you what to do. These are things we believe. And we, contrary to what liberals tell you on the internet, have a plan for how to get there. We know where we're going and we know how to get there. But the stage of our plan we're on is that we need more people to get on board with us to help make this happen, to help give us all a better life. So that's where you come in. If you are interested, if you feel like you have left-wing politics, but liberalism isn't offering you the solutions you had hoped, come on over and we're going to talk about it today. So we got some really good book recs going on too down below in the chat right now. I really appreciate it. And we just want to give you a good life and we want you on board. So what we're going to do is look at the news today. We're going to talk about how the news is presented in ways that are designed to manipulate you and make you think that capitalism is the only solution, that okay, capitalism might not be great, everybody hates it, but it's the best system we have, when those things aren't true. And we're going to talk about how the current state of the world, the different types of conditions that are existing within it, all come down to one thing, which is capitalism and by extension imperialism, which is the highest stage of capitalism. So that's what we're going to talk about. So Grover Fur, I like Grover Fur. I think Grover Fur is a little silly in how Grover Furr is so into Stalin that Grover Furr is like, and nothing's real communism except for Stalin. Sometimes I'm like, okay, there's other real communists besides Stalin and Grover Furr, but I got it. I have to get my hydrates. You guys hold on. I'm gonna screensaver you. I'm gonna go get water. When I come back, I'm gonna hang up with TikTok. Okay, so we're almost ready to start. Okay, hi, I'm back. I have water. What's up? How is everybody doing today? Talk about how the U.S. is blocking the Strait of Hormuz now. Let's take a look. Mm-hmm. 4 hours ago. 18 minutes ago we have an update. That's interesting. That's a good one. Does anybody... Okay, well, let me do the intro. Is it muted? No. Yes? No? Mike is doing... Really? Okay. Fine now? Okay. I'm so sorry. It must be the cable. It must be the cable. It's just weird. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'll try to figure it out. Top left where you see profile and help, there should be a dock option. Yeah, I'm not that tech inept. They literally just removed it. There was some like update to my OBS, my version of OBS, and they just removed chat from the dock. So I had to create a custom URL chat thing to add it back in, basically. And I just never did that, but I did it now. So I'll just switch to my MacBook for audio today. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Exactly. Okay. We'll just do this. That way, it might not be as good, but at least it's consistent. Yeah, OBS. Put in the BS in OBS. MacBook audio. Okay, good. All right, well, that's easy. So hi everybody. How many people do we have over here? We have a proper little audience. Hi. Why she banned anyone breathing? Oh, 250. Okay, good. So for everybody who's new, welcome to our Twitch stream. We call this Double Down, and we double down on our politics while looking at the news. So 4 out of the 5 days of the week, of the weekdays, we take a look at current events. So every day but Thursday, and Thursdays are reserved for theory. That's Theory Thursday. So what we do is we take a look at the news, and we discuss current events through a left-wing political lens, an actual left-wing political lens. I'm a Marxist-Leninist. That is a type of anti-imperialist socialist, and most of my chat is Marxist-Leninist as well. So the rules to engage with the chat are basically you can be rude if you're correct. You can be wrong if you are nice, but you can't be both rude and wrong, right? So if you're not sure if you're right, just err on the side of being really, really nice, and people in the chat will talk to you about things. So that's what's going to go on. Now, the way that we decide how we know what we're going to talk about is we actually do a poll at the beginning of every single episode. So at this segment of the show, this is where Biffalo is already sending one. Cool. You send any links to news stories that you want to talk about today. And ideally try to keep them super current events if possible. Last week we were doing them from January. It was a little bit harder. Oh, we got an Orban thing. Hungary. Okay. I've been interested in Orban. So yeah, just try to keep them a little bit current, and now you can just send them all. And what I'm doing is I'm opening them up on my computer, and then we're going to do a proper poll in a little bit. So anything you want, send it over. Oh my God, Ghosto8, 25 stream streak. Hey, yay. Yes, they can be from right-wing media. They can be from liberal media. We usually actually don't look at things from left-wing media. We look at normal kind of media, and we discuss from there. Shade Chan. I want to give all the U.S. Navy vessels a little kiss. On Wednesdays, we also do a segment called Weapons Wednesdays, where we talk about weapons that have been in the news. Just so everybody knows. But that's not all day. That's just in the beginning. Okay, I'm opening everyone's links. Oh, we got an RFA link. Wow. Cool. Real recognize real. Who was linking RFA? I think it's funny. They asked, they were like, can we do a right-wing news media one so we can have a laugh? And I was like, yes. Very funny. Okay. I'm guessing we'll look at this RFA one while we do our actual vote. Okay, we got some good contributions. The liberals protesting with dildo runs? What are they doing? You know, look, the thing about it is, here's what I'm going to say about the nature of protest in the United States. And you guys know I always hit you with the Parenti quote. Do you think you're going to change anything? You go outside and you march around in a little circle with your little sign. No, but I'm going to do it anyway. Now, the thing about protest is that protest in its original form is supposed to be a threat. You're threatening the government. You're saying, do this, or I will revolt. I will burn everything down. I will destroy this whole place if you don't do this thing, if you don't meet my demands. That's the original function of a protest. It is supposed to be a threat. The American people, we have been so disconnected from protest as a threat that we are a bit lost, I think, at this current stage of protest. Also, we can recognize that a protest is not the same thing as a revolution. These are two different things. And so it leads you to ask, what is the political utility of a protest in this time then? If we're not treating them like threats, if the government is not threatened by us when we have them, if the American people are not ready to basically take a form of political action that would be a threat, what is the actual political utility of protest today? And I'm inclined to think that they function as the same way a social media post functions. They bring awareness to issues, and they allow you to connect with people who might be interested in furthering on the ground real work, right? They help set the tone of the political discourse in the political environment, and they help you connect with other people to do the real work. And we're so far removed from the idea of protest as threat, right? We're not there. So when people are like, well, it's just a parade, you're like, yeah, it kind of is just a parade. Yeah, it's kind of just a political parade. But in the United States, that's the reality of where we are, right? So when you see liberals doing things like putting on frog costumes and dancing, it's a little silly because you're like, if the function of this is basically PR for your cause to let people know that, hey, this is not okay, right? Putting on a frog costume and dancing is not a way to make it look like you have a legitimate left-wing political movement going on. At the very least, if we're being like, okay, maybe it is just a parade because we're not in a position to do more, right? Why is the kind of version of events you want to put forward so deeply unserious? And because we do have a serious left-wing political movement in the United States, and it is growing more and more and more by the minute. But this is not, if you're looking at them as a communication tool, as a mass outreach communication tool, which is kind of what they've been reduced to at our current state of politics anyway. If you're not running around threatening to light a McDonald's on fire, going, do it, government, or else, right? Which is clearly not, that's not how most people in the United States are engaging in protest. Then what are you trying to accomplish? And I think that a lot of liberals, they're not trying to actually accomplish any significant change. So it's like an emotional outlet for them. And it's personal for them. It's an emotional outlet for them, and they're not viewing it as something that could have political utility if managed correctly, right? Car, I'm not opening that TikTok link until somebody else opens it and says it's safe. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 8 or 9 times live on stream with a Rickroll. Shame on me. Shame on me. What do we think about non-Marxist socialists like Gaddafi? I think that third wayism gets you killed, so you might as well go all the way. That's what I think. BBC. Okay, wait, we got more Biflo. Bigatco. Haircut leave while Bob grows out. That sounds like I'm a Radio Free Asia. The one Bigatco said sounds like if Radio Free Asia was real. Okay, wait, I got the Biflo. I got this one. So I have a bunch of these stories open. So we have a bunch of options today. So let's take a look. It sounds like it would be this Onion story. Literally sounds like a story you would see about North Korea. Illinois becomes first state to require haircut leave while Bob grows out. That would be like, somebody would post something like that about North Korea and everybody would be like, oh my God, if your haircut is ugly, they don't let you out in public. It was not a Rickroll. Okay. Reddit is being weirdo freaks again. Oh God. I have Reddit trauma. I have Reddit trauma from that whole subreddit dedicated to trying to prove I'm a millionaire landlord. Well, I can't afford to fix my car. I'm like, I can't deal with these people. There are only 4 shirts. They share them. Okay, wait. Chatter is spamming in one question. We're still in an argument with somebody who was trying to say that communism doesn't work and try to prove it by bringing up the Holodomor and the Great Leap Forward. What's your opinion? Okay. So the Holodomor, I have some reading for you that you can do on this. The Great Leap Forward, I don't know where people are getting this Great Leap. Do you guys know where the liberals are getting the Great Leap Forward stuff? I don't know where they're even... The only thing I can figure out with the Great Leap Forward is they're literally looking at a year where there was like no proper record keeping of population levels in every province of China. And then the next year there was. So there's a year where it looks like the population dipped really low, but then the next year it's up again. This is the only thing. Okay. Link reminder car. This is the only thing I can remember that I've ever seen that I'm like, maybe this is what they're doing, but I don't know. So I'm not sure about that because I don't know what the claim is that liberals are making about the Great Leap Forward and where they're getting this info from. So if you have it, you can share it and then I'll take a look for you. But the Holodomor I do, and I have a resource document that you can read to learn more about it, and I'll talk about that briefly before we get into the news today. We do a little casual Q&A. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing.
Strikes began at the start of 2025, and since then, entire parts of the city's waste system.
I gotta start this over. Oh, okay, this is about the Labour Party in the UK. Okay.
We need to talk about the Birmingham bin strikes. These strikes began at the start of 2025, and since then, entire parts of the city's waste system have been brought to a complete standstill. They started when the council proposed pay cuts for bin workers, some of which totaled up to $8,000 a year. Quite understandably, Unite the Union voted to go out on strike, and since then, the council have repeatedly walked out on negotiations and refused to reverse the pay cut. Now, we all know Birmingham City Council went bankrupt not so long ago, so this must be fair, right? They just can't afford to pay the workers. Well, that is a fucking lie. The proposed pay cut that caused the strike in the first place would have saved the council £1.2 million. Since then, the council has spent £33.4 million trying to break the strikes. They've spent £34 million trying to save £1.2 million. They couldn't afford to pay the workers' wages, but they very happily spent almost 30 times that trying to defeat the strike. Everyone in Birmingham should be up in arms against the council. They've wasted millions of pounds of our money, and they've caused this strike to go on for over a year, piling up waste in our communities. And all this from a party that's meant to be on the side of working class people, when instead they've handled this strike in exactly the same way, if not worse, than the Tories or Reform would have done. Not a single vote for Labour in the local elections. Vote Green or Independent and kick this useless council out. And on a side note, it is incredible that Unite the Union have continued to fund the Labour Party during this strike and have only recently said that they're going to properly review their ties. The Labour Party are not on the side of workers. However much money we give them, they will still act like this when it comes down to it. Every single trade union should be breaking ties with Labour immediately. We need to talk about the Birmingham bin strikes. These strikes began at the start of
Okay, sorry, I was eating peanut butter and it was making really gross noises, so I didn't want to turn my mic back on. I was like, wait, it's really gross sounding. Okay, so interesting. I don't know much about UK politics, but that sounds like some shit the Democrats would do here. Because the thing is that making that concession to them, that leads to more concessions in the future. That leads to more wage increases in the future. And that's why they won't do it. That's why they don't do it. It's crazy. It's wild. Choke toast. Yes. Okay, so I have a document. I'm just going to get this person. I love that it's tanky.org. It's so convenient for me to just pull it up now. Oh my God. I'm going to tanky.org. This. Tanky.org is my link tree. Amazing. So this is for the Holodomor person. I'm just going to pull this up. If you go into intro left-wing politics reading list, I think it's on here. If you scroll down, there's an interesting consideration. Bifflo, don't look at number 3. You're going to get triggered. You're going to get triggered. Ignore it, Bifflo. Bifflo disagrees with number 3. Okay, so on the USSR, the Holodomor, this is the one. This is a link that you can go to. It's an analysis by Mark B. Togger. You've seen it. You've seen it. But it links to Grover Fur. We fuck with Grover Fur. So, this is a good story about a good paper about the Holodomor. It's a little long. It's 67 pages long. There's a lot of tables about grain production. But the general takeaways is that the first thing you need to know is that the Holodomor was one of several naturally recurring famines that happened in that region going back way before the USSR existed. So this region was prone to famine. They were having famine over and over and over again. And the Holodomor was a particularly bad one for a couple of reasons. And this paper gets into why it was so bad that year. And it was basically because they had a premature weather pattern that brought heat too soon to the region, and it caused the plants to bloom. And then they encountered more cold, and then the plants died. So it was a weather pattern event. And then also there was something about the weather pattern event brought new pestilence. Is it pestilence? Is that the right word? It's very biblical. New pest activity and vermin to the area, which also was destroying the plants. So it was this thing that was happening that was, it was a false spring. Exactly. So this is really what happened that hit them hard. And this had also been exacerbated by the fact that the kulaks, who were the capitalist farming owning class, had refused to collectivize, and they had burnt millions of hectares of land with food on it in protest of the communists because they were capitalists. And they also slaughtered their livestock and left them to rot in protest. So all of these issues compounded, and the USSR's government was pretty new. They had just come out maybe like 10 years earlier of fighting all of these civil wars. They didn't have a lot of resources. And Togger acknowledges that they didn't know how to manage a massive famine on this level, right? They were new and thrown into it, and it was huge. But they did try very, very hard to manage it. And ultimately, the big takeaway that we have to have about communism and famines, because they always like to bring up famines to talk about communism for some reason. You ever notice that? They're like, but it causes famines. It doesn't. These areas that have had successful worker revolutions, communist revolutions, they usually were feudal before. They were feudal economies. And these feudal agrarian societies were hit with famine over and over and over again, long before communism ever showed up. But what we see in places that have a communist revolution is that usually they have one famine under communist rule, and the communists figure out how to fix it so it never happens again through central planning. And that's exactly what happened with the Holodomor, right? Like they were like, oh, fuck, this is bad. We're going to make sure this never happens again. And the USSR stopped that famine from ever happening in that region again. It had been happening with like regular clockwork for years and years and years going on before. Not as bad as this one. This one was exacerbated, especially by the kulak involvement was horrible. It was horrible that they did this. That made it bad too. But that's the takeaway. And you don't have to do a lot of reading to know that. You can look at the instances of famine in these areas before the creation of the USSR, and then you can look at how many famines happened in that same area after the Holodomor. None. It was famine, 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 famine. Holodomor, oh fuck. Now we have to figure out how to address this issue. And then none. And they resolved it. And there's a reason why Ukraine, where parts of the Holodomor affected Ukraine, there's a reason why Ukraine had some of the highest rates of approval for the USSR at the time of the 1991 referendum, right? It's because the USSR had ended famine in Ukraine. The USSR expelled Nazis from Ukraine, all of these things that go into it. So this is a document you can get access to from my link tree, which is also at tanky.org. If you go to entry-level reading list on socialism and scroll down to the bottom, it's a resource document. It'll be labeled for the Holodomor. It is 67 pages long. Parts of it are boring. I'm not going to lie to you. This is one of the more boring doc recs. But I do think it is good to get through just once, and you'll get a kind of a general idea from there. So a good resource, I think. Okay. You've read the Grover Fur thing. That's why you disagree with Grover Fur. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think he's, on Pol Pot, I think Grover Fur's pretty correct. My complaints with Grover Fur again is that he's really into Stalin, which is great because a lot of academics fell into the Frankfurt School trap of just throwing Stalin under the bus to appear to be intellectual or whatever. And he never did that as an academic. However, he's so into Stalin, you get a sense of everything he talks about. He's like, well, Stalin wouldn't have done that. Just saying. You're like, okay. But it's hard to argue with. Like, I just did the research for our second part of our Yugoslavia episode of the podcast, and we're going to record that today. And you're watching Tito and Stalin fight, and you're like, damn, Stalin really played it cooler than I would have in this situation. Yeah, he was pretty Stalin well. Yeah, he was into it. So Virgo's here-ish. So here's what we're going to do. Virgo's on a phone call, but we're going to look at the submissions for today's stories. And when Virgo is back, hopefully, or maybe Car can, if Car is available, to make a poll for us to decide what we're going to talk about today. Fuck the IMF. Yeah, it gets real bad. A Revolutionary Tito was cool, though. You get it. And this is the thing about, look, this is actually the same kind of thing about Pol Pot, right? It's the same kind of thing that vanguardism talks about. The people who lead your revolutions are not necessarily the people who are the best suited to lead your country after, right? Castro talked about this as well, and we've talked about this. And I think that really was an example of what was going on with Tito in Yugoslavia. Certainly. Tito was a great revolutionary leader. He was not so great at managing a country afterwards, after the war ended, right? And that's what we ran into. Kubashi's ready to make a poll. Great. Okay. So let's take a look at our options. We have a lot today, so I'm going to have to narrow them down to just 5 for us. So let's see what we can make happen. So first I'm going to run through them all, so we're not quite ready for polling yet. Everybody's so ready. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So let's go through them and narrow them down. We have the Strait of Hormuz. We have Viktor Orban in Hungary. We have North Korea using Facebook social engineering to deliver malware. Okay, that's pretty interesting to me. We have Mexico getting universal health care. Oh, she's doing Millennial Heart. She's doing Millennial Heart, chat. She's doing it. Mike? There's no mic. There's literally no mic. It's just my computer. No cat, no dog, nothing. Is it still, can you hear it now? Is it still happening now? I'm not, though. I'm not touching it at all. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, whatever. We're gonna figure it out. It's fine. I gotta figure it out. Okay. I was hacked. Anyway. I don't think so. No, there's no microphone here at all. Okay, the UK NHS doesn't allow gender-affirming care for minors from my younger siblings to get private healthcare, which costs at least $4,000 in the next 2 years, which is basically impossible for families. So anyway, the question was, do you have tips to how to get a GoFundMe to be successful? I don't, but if you tell me your GoFundMe, I'll make a video for you, and I'll link it in my link tree. Sometimes people see them. I got hacked by Danny, North Korea. I got hacked by the ghost of Tito. And the FBI. Okay, so we've got, Mexico healthcare. We have Iran's nuclear rights. I feel like we've kind of talked about this, so I'm going to veto the Black Agenda Report article for now, but we love Black Agenda Report, and I think it's good. We have talked about Iran's nuclear capabilities, so I'm just going to, because we have so many recs today, that's the only reason I'm doing that. Okay, so then we have, again, the blockade. That's the same story. Okay, that's good. Oh, this is the Eric Swalwell suspense campaign for California governor amid sexual misconduct allegations. Yes, we could talk about the vote socialist. Oh, the sleeves. It might be my sleeves. That could be. TBH? TBH. It might be the sleeves. You know what? I'm gonna plug the real microphone back in and we're gonna try that. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry I'm like this. It's easier to see and not touch that. It's far away from me. So, hold on. Okay. We're gonna try this. No, the New York Post made an article about North Korea's fake utopian free housing. Oh my god. Much better. Okay. And volume goes back down. Sorry. All right. Okay, so Swalwell, California, and then we can do a big plug for the Vote Socialist stuff if we want. We have the warehouse fire compares himself to Luigi Mangione. We have this Radio Free Asia thing we'll read for funsies maybe while the vote goes on. Fidel Castro's daughter, this is probably the mom of that weird fuckboy, right? That weird fuckboy who wants to be the Donald Trump of Cuba and move to Miami. I bet this is this guy's mom. Fernanda. Oh, and she also... Oh! Because a bunch of his family was super rich. Okay, super disappointing. So we did so much Cuba last week, though. I'm going to veto Cuba for now. Sorry, I'm using veto power to get us through this. Just because there's so many. A mega building in China is now so large that it's slowing Earth's spin. Okay, but at what cost? That's interesting to me. Radical DSA honcho behind Mayor Zoran Mamdani's rise is a mime. What? Okay. Okay, that was Swalwell. All right. Swalwell, more Swalwell. Let's put all the Swalwell together. We got it. All right. So our options are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got to get rid of 3 of them. 3 people say a number 1 through 20. The first 3 I'm going to do, and I'm just going to randomly kill something. 13, 16, 17. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I didn't see this one either. Okay. 12, 13. Okay. And then we're going to do 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to close Eric Swalwell. This piece of shit. We're closing this piece of shit. All right. Swalwell, bye. He's a creep. He's a creeper. If you're in California, register Peace and Freedom Party, vote Socialist. They're running Marxist-Leninists. All right. And there was more. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, the mega building that's slowing Earth's spin. We're getting rid of that one. That was interesting too, though. I loved that one also. All right, so we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we still have 6, 7. Okay, I think we'll probably not talk about these last 2, but they are really interesting. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was targeted by a second attack. They were following him and they tried to shoot him. So we've got some domestic terrorism going on here in the United States. Okay, good to know. They're out here trying to shoot Sam Altman. I'm glad we're aware of that. Yes, one more second. We have to get rid of one more. I guess I'm going to get rid of the mimes created Zoran Mamdani. Although I do love this. I love knowing this. Look, this is making sense. All right. That his team was put together. Oh, combine the shooting with the fire. You're right. That's the same one. You're right. That's the same. We'll do it together. Okay. So 1, 2. Yeah. All right. So we're going to get rid of the Zoran Mamdani mime story. Big mime. dookie butt. It says Big Mime finally getting outed. Big Mime's running this country. Wow. Thank you for whoever submitted this, though. Self-avowed anti-capitalist Jenkins 40 is a proud founder of the Bronx Box Mime Theater, where he performs pantomime to a heart-thumping soundtrack in full mime makeup. Keep mimes out of politics! Big Echo. We never heard the socialist revolution coming in the West because they were mimes by any means necessary. Ghost in this hell, mime down a stand. I'm kind of losing it over this, honestly. This is really... We live in the stupidest country out here. If you're not an American, this is what we deal with every day. We're out here on the front lines in the trenches fighting the revisionist mimes for you. For you. Okay, all right. So we have our 5 options now. We're going to do our 5 options. Who's ready with a poll? Which mod is ready to do a poll? Hi, Larry. I didn't see you in here. Mimes and dildos. Pillars of the liberal movement here in the United States. Card's going to do it. Okay. All right. We have the Strait of Hormuz. We have Viktor Orban. We have North Korean malware. We have Mexican healthcare, and we have domestic terrorism. That's what I'm going to call it. It's just like a little catch-all domestic terrorism moment. Okay. Everybody's ready. We're going to have so many polls. And while we get the polls going, mod fight. I've got some hydrates, and we're going to look at this Radio Free Asia story. So, to be fair, South African politicians don't understand where produce comes from. What happened? What's that story? I need to know. Carr said I low-key missed them all. Someone else do the poll. Oh my god, yay, Virgo. You convinced your friend to watch Little Citizens. Okay, cool. Okay, who's going to do the poll then? Who's doing the poll? Well, Dylan, usually someone makes a poll, but we're having some poll chaos at the moment. Kubashi. Bifflo, do you even have mod access? I don't trust you. I don't think you have mod access, do you? No. I don't want to see the Bifflo poll. A newer Lego video. Yeah, does anybody have a link to the some of the new Iran videos? Kubashi, are you available to do the poll? Oh, I put back in my thing. Maybe I can do the poll. Current poll. We got it. I am normal. I do not trust Big Got Code. It's going to be all flea everything. There's going to be fleas everywhere. Oh, no, we got it, Virgo. Thank you, though. Thank you. Okay, so everybody go vote in the poll. We're missing one of them. We're missing Mexican healthcare, but I think we know. Mexico's got free healthcare. All right? Mexico's got free healthcare. They're doing it. It's very cool. Like, how long do you guys think until Americans start desperately trying to get Mexican citizenship? You know? I think it's going to happen soon. Gay of Hormuz. You're boycotting this election. Yeah, we don't do straight. This is gay of Hormuz. You give it 2 years. I mean, I really think they're going to start. We already know American retirees move to Mexico in mass and ruin it. If you've ever been to Puerto Vallarta, holy shit. Like, we're colonizing Mexico again, and it's not going well. We're not sending our best. As Donald Trump would say. We are not sending our best to do colonization 2.0 in Mexico. So, I think they're going to start doing, I think the elderly are already going to do it. I think so. Okay, new Legos. Smash Ultra.
You've seen his ads everywhere, but who's the real Tom Steyer?
Hold on. It's not showing. Hold on. Okay, wait. The South African politician said that you guys don't need farms anymore. You can just buy it in the supermarket. Somebody said they know about Ivana's grave. Ivana Trump. Right? Yeah, it's official. The only countries allowed to use AI are Iran and China. That's it. I'll forgive it if it's Iran or China. And I think, okay, yeah. The question of, like, why do they do it in Lego? And somebody was like, maybe it's easier to generate. That could totally be true. And somebody else was like, they know that we can only deal with AI chud slop. That probably is most true, too. And it's working on me. Explosive Media, they post them on Telegram at Explosive Media. Okay, good. So everybody can follow them on Telegram at Explosive Media. Yeah, I'm not sure. There's so many references in here, you know? But little end cap, let's be clear, this isn't about politics. It's about character. 13%. That's the verdict on your soul. You spent your whole life chasing ratings, building a golden cage around a pathetic empty man, a con artist who got too loud. You ain't a leader. You're a joke without a punchline. History won't remember a president. It will remember a shameful footnote. You got zero respect, period. It's a Macklemore AI voice. I think Macklemore would be okay with that. Macklemore would be fine with that. And I do think it's wild that Macklemore somehow became, like, the most based musician of our era. Like, when history looks back at the 2020s, like the 2010s to 2020s era of social unrest, the fact that Macklemore will be the musical voice of the generation, I did not see coming. Oh, you didn't know Macklemore's based as hell? Oh, yeah. Macklemore was, like, one of the first, like, okay, so Macklemore after October 7th, I think maybe, like, was like, oh, no, something bad has happened to Israel. And all these people were like, you, like, stop that. And Macklemore, like, went, and I'm pretty sure this is what happened. So confirm or deny that he at first was like, I support Israel. And then people were like, don't support Israel. And then he was like, what? I think this is what happened, and he went back and learned about it. Whatever the case, pretty immediately before, like, it was mainstream acceptable to do this, Macklemore was coming out being like, what? There's a genocide going on. What's happening to the Palestinian people is horrible. Like, it became one of the most vocally pro-Palestinian liberation artists out there. Now, what's been more interesting since then is that Macklemore has not just stopped there with, like, the liberal assessment that's like, okay, we figured out Palestine is good, but we can't expand it. He has now expanded that understanding to anti-imperialist struggles, like, all around the globe. Oh, wait, we have a current poll for Buffalo. Fucked you no bad way, fucked you no very good way. This is for Buffalo. Yeah, so Macklemore, and this is why if you do organizing, a lot of times they'll just use Macklemore songs, because Macklemore's so super cool with organizers, like, using his music and shit, and all his songs are, like, very, very good, and they're, like, general now, like, just general politics. Macklemore is, like, anti-imperialist diehard baddie. So it's very, very interesting. Has he bested Rage Against the Machine on Tibet? I'm not sure. But, yeah, who was the Grim Reaper in this video? That's really interesting, too. You streamed his song for Hein nonstop on BG devices during the week. Its money went to charity. Yeah. Yeah, Macklemore coming out with all the bangers. And Kneecap, too, everybody said, yeah. Tupac walked so Macklemore could run. Yes. Yeah, check it out. Hip-hop has been calling out imperialism for years, but Macklemore's white, so it gets hyped. Not mad, but a little mad. I mean, look, this is true. Like, we have a history, obviously, of black hip-hop artists in the United States talking about this shit a lot. Talking about, I mean, like, before Kanye West went crazy, Kanye West was even making anti-imperialist songs. Kanye West was making songs even about the United States profiting off of drug trade that, like, harms people in other countries, and profiting off of diamond trade that harms people in other countries. Like, so this is the history and spirit of American hip hop for a long time. But I feel like somewhere around 2004 it got super, super sterile because hip-hop became accepted in the United States as a more mainstream kind of music genre. So a lot of the hip-hop that was coming out was more palatable for the masses after that standpoint. So I kind of lost, not that there wasn't political hip-hop coming out, obviously, but the nature and character, I think, of hip-hop changed as it was it became a heavily commodified industry in the United States designed to be sold to white teenagers. And that necessarily changed the content of what was getting promoted and pushed out in hip-hop. Tupac was a communist. Yeah, Tupac was a communist. His aunt was Assata Shakur, right? So you blame Marshall Mathers, kinda, yeah, that's the era that it started getting just like fucking ridiculous and silly. And obviously there were always still political hip-hop artists in the underground, super, super political artists in the underground. But I think, yeah, the more that people started trying to market hip-hop to white teenagers, record labels were like, maybe this isn't the message. The message became like, fuck bitches, get money. And that had not historically been the message of hip-hop. So it is interesting that Macklemore I think also the reason why people are so shocked by Macklemore is because nobody, look, to be black in America is to be political, right? Your existence is political. To be a random white guy who made a song about thrift stores and then flip from that to this hardcore political stance, I think the switch up was really shocking to a lot of people. And that's why it became more of a thing in a story, Tupac's parents were Black Panthers, yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, fuck bitches, get money, down with American imperialism. Yes. Fuck what pot. Oh my god! I just like pot. I don't think that even Buffalo would say Pol Pot did nothing wrong, though. I don't think even Buffalo would say that. The poll. Everybody knows how it works now. Okay, so Gay of Hormuz won today, so we'll get into that. That is going to be what we talk about. And somebody said they were surprised that we didn't vote on Viktor Orban, so I just want to do a little touch base on this. Viktor Orban was in charge in Hungary for 16 years. Very interesting character. Virgo is banning Pol Pot discussion after a week after this poll. I think that's probably good to keep us on track. And, the Hungary election is interesting. So I have been actually trying to find some good Marxist assessments of Viktor Orban because he got his start in his young, maybe teenage years, early 20s, I know, in anti-communism. He was fighting against communism. He had his shit rocked. He got his ass kicked by communists. Just a little palate cleanser. Let's see what we got here. We have pictures of him actually here. With getting in trouble with the commies, right? He started off very, very anti-communist, but then in recent years, it seems like the problems that the liberal Western world has had with him, that he's cozied up to Russia and China too much in their eyes, but other people have been like, that just means doing trade with Russia and China. This is Mr. Hungary. So he's an interesting character for sure. He's, was very, very anti-communist, and now he's painted as a communist by the West, or commie adjacent or something like that. And I frankly don't have enough knowledge about what's happened in Hungary in the past 16 years to be able to speak on it in depth. So if you guys know any Hungarian communists, or if you are a Hungarian communist in the chat and you feel like you have some good insight or good recommended reading, anything like that, I'd certainly be interested in learning more about Orban from a communist perspective in Hungary, if anybody knows. So yeah, I don't think that Wanderslut on TikTok is fully communist, but she's not anti-communist. And her video about him was very, very interesting, I thought, as well. Very, very interesting. I don't know. I would love to know an explicitly communist perspective on him. But I do like her. I think that if you guys don't follow Wanderslut, and she's one of the few people who's not explicitly Marxist-Leninist, who's also just not a ding-dong. She's lived around the world a lot, and she's had a lot of experiences, and she does not hate communism, and she has a lot of good political and social insights that are kind of motivated by I would say a pretty good political understanding. Also, she could be a communist. She's never said she's not. I just never hear her explicitly say she is. Okay, Amanda says, I know a number of general quality of life stats really degraded while he was in charge. Yeah, okay. You're a Hungarian communist. You're pretty new. There was really no choice for us in this vote. Right. Okay, got it. Got it. How is my Hungarian? None. I don't know any Hungarian. I would use an online translator, though. Orban also made life really hard for queer people. Okay, good to know. Yeah, I really like her. I think she's really, really cool and smart and normal and sane. And I do recommend following her. Yeah. Okay, all right. Good to know. I don't have a favorite go-to news source. I will say I like Black Agenda Report. I think they do good work. There's some other... Mint Press News hosts some good work. Sometimes they have goofball stuff, though. They have had a couple weird ones in there. I think in general, like every news source, you need to be aware of who the author is for the news source. And you need to kind of just do your due diligence, as always. But yeah, I do like Black Agenda Report. I do tend to like Mint Press News. Yeah, but Black Agenda Report is really, really good. Yeah, they do very, very good work. Okay. So, let's get into the Strait of Hormuz and what's going on. We probably won't have time for the Radio Free Asia story. U.S. to set up Philippines fuel depot in support of its South China Seas operations. So the United States trying to get the Philippines now to undermine China. That's going to be great for us to see. All right. What is a naval blockade and how would it work in the Strait of Hormuz? I think we might need one more story on this. Hold on, to give us a little backlog here. We have an 8-minute video. Maybe we'll just say, I've been raised, your name was pronounced Haley. Oh, Haley's Comet. Haley. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Haley. Haley's. Yes, I remember Haley's Comet. Okay, got it. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Haley's Rainbow Library. Thank you for fixing me. Double blockade. All right. So, what to know about the Strait of Hormuz? The U.S. military blockade of all of Iran's ports and coastal areas came into effect at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and this was today. According to the U.S. military, it will allow ships to transit the Strait of Hormuz if traveling between non-Iranian ports. President Donald Trump has said earlier the U.S. Navy would prevent ships from passing through this key waterway. So, again, we don't have the legal right to do that, right? That's just... Right? We're just like, we're in war. Right? This is kind of wild. So Iran's armed forces accused the U.S. of piracy? I think that does sound correct, yes. Said the country's ports are either for everyone or for no one. Yeah, I don't think we have the right to just use our boats to stop people from passing through. That's just like us doing war shit. Halley's Comet. Love. Yeah, so the price of oil climbed overnight to well above $100 a barrel. I feel like it's been pretty much over $100. They've been saying that. And stocks fell as traffic through the strait, a crucial global trade route, was at an effective standstill. Ceasefire holding after talks fail. Trump said the ceasefire with Iran is holding well, but I don't care whether Iran returns to the negotiating table after weekend talks ended without a peace deal. All right. Pope Leo the 14th. Thank you, everybody. I read a Roman numeral correctly. Thank you. Yeah, we don't have the right to blockade Cuba. We just have the ability. No one can stop us. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So Pope Leo the 14th vowed to keep speaking out and said he had no fear that the Trump administration after the president assailed the first American pontiff as weak and terrible following his Iran war criticism. I just don't know why, like, Trump Pope fight is very, very, thematically delightful to me. I just think that's very, very funny. So Iran's forensic chief said more than 3,000 people had been killed in the country since U.S.-Israeli airstrikes began on February 28th. More than 2,000 have been killed in Lebanon, 32 have been killed in Gulf states, and 23 people have died in Israel. 13 U.S. service members have been killed, and 2 more died on non-combat causes. So this is the current numbers we're talking about here. Trump not sorry for Leo. Sorry, this is still the Trump Pope fight. I'm a little off topic here, but I do find this fascinating. Says he thought image of him as Jesus was him as a doctor? What? Okay. Got it. All right. Great. Yes. Trump Pope fight. I know we're not supposed to be talking about that. I'm like the pull. I'm getting pulled towards it. I'm like Trump Pope fight. But I'm going to stay on topic. We're not going to talk about the Trump Pope fight. So let's give ourselves a little recap before we get into how we ended up with the United States becoming pirates in the Strait of Hormuz. I want to figure out what happened over the weekend with the peace deals and really figure out what got us here. Oh my God. Oh, NBC News. No, I can't do that. I'm Googling something else. These people. The Guardian. Ye old free Guardian. All they do is shame you. The Guardian is like, hey, noticed you've been reading our work. Thanks. If you wanted, you could pay us for it. We like to eat food and pay rent. You could pay us for it. And me, because I actually don't support workers, I guess, or I don't support the Guardian, I'm like, girl, fuck you. No, I'm gonna keep reading it. Yeah, exactly. They're really going for the shame angle here, the same way Wikipedia does, and it's not working on me. So, the Guardian said, plane loads of negotiators and too little time. U.S. and Iran's 21 hours of talks over the weekend. This is what happened. This is not a paywall. I know, Guardian. I know. Why do you think I'm here? So it was as if the two delegations in the Iran-U.S. peace talks in Islamabad hoped that the sheer number of negotiators flown into Pakistan could overcome the handicap of having only a finite number of hours in which to settle a 20-year dispute over Iran's nuclear ambitions, now overlaid by complex new issues such as future control of the Strait of Hormuz and U.S. compensation for its attack on Iran. Now look, just like Spain is my problematic fave right now. The Guardian is my problematic fave lib news site for a couple of reasons. Number one, they're funny sometimes. Number two, when they do segments that are explicitly paid for by propaganda networks, they literally tell you right here. They're like, hey, we were paid by this propaganda network to do this. And you can click on it and it tells you everything about the agreement. And I'm like, that's actually pretty funny. Like, that's respect. So this is my favorite lib news source, I think, at the moment. I didn't want anyone to get scared. You shouldn't have to hear that, you know? So, you know, I think it's funny. Like, this is pretty funny. And it feels very British. Isn't the Guardian's British, right? Like, this guy's British, isn't he? Because this feels British to be like, oh, did you think the sheer number of negotiators flown into Pakistan would solve this 20-year dispute? Like, they're being bitchy, right? This is as bitchy as you can be in a pretty normal libbed out newspaper, I think. And it is kind of funny for me. Yeah. Very British. So, Iran sent 2 plane loads of negotiators. They included many members of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, present to ensure that no gains made in the field were relinquished at the diplomatic table. Diplomats fanned out across political, legal, security, economic, and military files. One Iranian drafted technical explanation on nuclear facility safety ran to more than 100 pages. The U.S., often accused of leaving talks to the noteless special envoy Steve Witkoff, sent not just the Vice President J.D. Vance, but nearly 300 other officials. It was if it finally realized, as if, I'm guessing there's a missed word here, it was as if it finally realized that the Iranian negotiating team, including figures such as Ali Bagheri Khani, the Deputy Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council and the chief negotiator in previous nuclear talks, and Abbas Araghchi, the chief negotiator in 2015 and now the foreign minister, might be on top of their brief. Okay. The United States finally realized Iran knows their shit. Okay. We have a comrade in the Discord asking for something to read about Hungary and Orban if anybody has any recs for them. Yeah, I would also like some recs, TBH. I was hopping around a lot of different things. You know what? I'm going to tell you this. I'm not glazing the Brits, but Patrick Wintour, he's kind of fucking cracking me up right now. He's 71 years old, first of all. Second of all, he's clearly using a very old photo of him, which I respect. Catfish them. Slay bestie girlfriend, go off queen. Happy for him. This appears to be him now, and this is his Guardian photo. But I also love that he chose the one where he looks as smarmy as fucking pot. Like, he looks so painfully British. Like, why are you smirking in your headshot? Like, he's like, can I look like a judgmental prick in this? And they're like, go for it, Patrick. So I'm kind of into him. I think he's kind of like a sassy, yeah, he's a cheeky, cunty editor. Exactly. This is what I imagine when I think about England. And I find that also thematically satisfying. The same way I find the Donald Trump Pope fight thematically satisfying as well. Like, this just somehow makes sense. Of course, this is happening right now. It is giving Mr. Bean. Yes, he's so British. So, and here he is being sassy as hell. He's like, oh, it feels like the United States finally realized Iran might know what the fuck they're talking about. Oh, interesting. Is he actually Anna Wintour's brother? Shut up. We'll go to Ye Olde Wiki, which I'm also not paying for, by the way. His elder sister is the current editor-in-chief of the American edition of Vogue magazine. What the fuck is happening? What? Media moguls. Hey. Your Maoist third worldist landlord Madeline is 2 weeks away from developing nuclear capabilities at Netanyahu. Wow. Also, she's a dame? What is a dame? What does that mean? His brother's part of the equestrian stuff. It's all over the Epstein files. They are a very cunty sibling pair. I wouldn't say that I like them, but I'm appreciating what's happening with this, you know? The Brits control the media. Yeah, what is a dame? Dame is the lady version of Duke. London's best gay. You should know this. I don't think you're actually London's best gay. I think there would be another N, but that's in my head. Is she a lady Duke? Thank you for my bow. Yes, this guy is Anna Wintour's brother. The guy writing this sassy, bitchy article about how Americans don't know how diplomacy works. Duchess is a lady Duke. I don't know. Okay, all right. Well, Dame Anna Wintour. Amazing things happening in England right now. That's all I'm saying. So, Vance spoke to Donald Trump at least a dozen times during the talks, and even once to Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu. A conversation Arakchi was quick to claim led to a hardening of the U.S. position. But it was probably unrealistic to expect issues that took up to 2 years of negotiations in Vienna between 2013 and 2015 over the nuclear deal to be resolved in one marathon session. Robert Malley, a veteran of nuclear talks with Iran under Joe Biden, noted pithily, 21 hours was 20 hours too many if the goal was to reiterate a demand Iran had already rejected. It was many hours too few if the goal was to negotiate. Oh my God. Politics are politicking. Another U.S. State Department veteran, Aaron David Miller, noted if the administration believed that after only 21 hours of negotiations, Iran would give up enrichment, which is what Vance implied, it totally misread the moment and the Iranian delegation. He would need to piss. Virgo censoring Britain. Oh, wow. She's a knight? This is amazing. In this context, it was unfortunate that Vance spoke of coming to Islamabad to see if we could get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms. The former Iranian foreign minister, Javad Zarif, a brave advocate of talks with the U.S. even in wartime, was not the only Iranian to claim the sentence revealed an unchanging U.S. take-it-or-leave-it arrogance. No negotiations, at least with Iran, will succeed based on our/your terms, he said. The U.S. must learn. You cannot dictate terms to Iran. It's not too late to learn yet. These guys! Iran is like, welcome to school, classes in session. How can you hate them? How can... He is eating. He is. But that raises questions of whether the talks process is now complete or continuing, and what the two sides were trying to achieve in a weekend in Islamabad. On the first question, in Pakistan, the host for the talks and the mediator is pleading with both sides not to close the door on diplomacy and resume fighting. Israel's energy minister, Eli Cohen, by contrast, is claiming the lack of an agreement means it is possible to attack Iran. Israel, man. Israel's just like, let us fucking in there. Let me in. Like, that's Israel. Israel is like a rabid psychopath at your front door with like a knife, just like, let me in there. It's absolutely wild. Real Georgius, have fun with those. You can rig elections with them. I couldn't figure out how to make it stop. Vance was more nuanced. We leave here with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our best and final offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it, he said, implying a continuing conversation. Trump's stated plan in the interim is to mount a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, trying to grab hold of Iran's best negotiating card to prevent Iranian oil being exported. Such a move, as many Iranian diplomats point out, may only add upwards pressure on the price of oil. As to what the two sides were trying to achieve in 21 hours of diplomacy, I love that he keeps throwing it in there. Like, you fucking imbeciles, right? Oh. Okay, I'm getting waterboarded. You 35K? Hi, Toby. Hi, Toby Tony. You're down to 19K on rigging elections. Alexander Bruto. Yeah, 39K is a lot. Lord Oxime, 60K. That makes sense to me. This is going to lead to bathroom breaks. Be aware. 78,000 were Matrion. You are prettifying my blood. I needed this. My blood needed this, just in case. I gotta add in, like, Fork sightings. Like, for 10,000 points, I'll go wake up Fork wherever she is and bring her to the camera. Okay. I gotta stop for now. Okay. I do need pretty blood. Fork sighting would get used so much. I know. And she's so... Isn't it like everything you learn about Fork just like breaks your heart a little bit more? Like, honestly, for those of you who are on the TikTok stream this morning, when I was talking about how Fork gets seizures if she gets too excited, and also she has a bladder deformity, and so her bladder is the size of a thimble, and it's positioned weird, and pee would just fall out of her. Like, she's so, like, not meant for this world. And I got her from a woman who was like, I love dogs. I cannot handle this dog. This is too high maintenance. I know, but the woman, like, was like, she's so sweet. I just, like, I'm a full-time nurse. Like, this dog needs a full-time caregiver, basically. She's just, like, so sweet. And she's so insane. I don't know, whatever. Blockaded your Pendleton points. Fork was super stressed when I went to Cuba. So no, because they were still getting their anti-anxiety medication daily, which did help. But my partner was like, yeah, Fork was just really depressed, like, the whole time. Like, the first day was really stressed out, and then afterwards just, like, wouldn't get out of bed, like, all day, like, had no energy, which is really unlike her. She's a very high energy dog. She was just, like, moping around the house, like, you know, and my partner was like, she was really easy to manage because usually she's very high maintenance. But it was just because she was super, super depressed. So yeah, she's very, very, very baby. And she's very bonded with me. So when I go to New York to see New York partner, I bring her. But I haven't been able to afford to go to New York as much. But yeah, we've got a whole little setup. She comes to New York with me. We call it New Fork. It's very, very cute. Yeah, she's okay in the car. On long road trips, she'll start to get mad and just start yelling at you at a certain point. But yeah, she's like very sweet, maybe. She doesn't mind flying though to New York, and she likes being in New York a lot. She's like, yeah, like, you know, she's into it. A new fork. Okay, so back to this little sassy bitch over here. This little sassy British bitch. All right, so he says, as to what the two sides were trying to achieve in 21 hours of diplomacy. This is such shade, right? At one level, they turned up to test one another's resolve after close to 40 days of fighting. Prior to the talks, Iran buckled a little in that it did not secure the full ceasefire in Lebanon it had demanded, nor received the release of its frozen assets before meeting Vance. Netanyahu has instead agreed to hold direct talks with Lebanon on Tuesday for the first time in 30 years. The Iranian aim was to draft a memorandum of understanding before finally a peace agreement over a period lasting longer than 2 weeks, implying that the fortnight-long ceasefire would be extended. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Esmail Baghai, admitted the timeframe in Islamabad meant no outline agreement had been likely to be reached, and spoke of 2 or 3 issues that remained outstanding. This is so funny to me because it really does feel like Donald Trump was like, yeah, how long can negotiations take? 3-4 hours? You know, like, this is like such like a Donald Trump way of doing things. That's really, really funny. It reminds me of a while ago, this random American white dude was like, I'm going to bring peace to the Middle East. He had no political training, no diplomatic background. He was just like some guy. And he's like, I think I can do it. And this was his thing. He was going to bring peace to the Middle East, right? So he flies to fucking West Asia and just starts like asking for meetings with like heads of state, like anywhere he can in any country. He does not have like a specific target in mind. And he ends up getting some meetings with people just because everyone's like, what? And then in the end, he does this for a few months and he concludes that it's basically impossible and nobody will ever be able to do it. And it's like the weirdest story. I wonder if I could like find it somewhere online. But this happened when I was like in my teens or early 20s. And this feels like the same thing Donald Trump is. He's like, how long can it be to negotiate peace with Iran? A couple hours? It's absolutely wild. You remember that guy? Yeah, I remember it too. It was so weird. Just some random dude. So, these issues are not technical but fundamental. Israel ending its offensive in Lebanon, a protocol for the future governance of shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, and the future of Iran's highly enriched uranium stockpile, including whether it would be sufficient for Iran to downblend the uranium under tight supervision of the UN Nuclear Inspectorate inside Iran, or instead that it has to be exported to a third country such as Russia. On the subject of Iran's right to enrich uranium domestically, Vance said, the simple fact is we need an affirmative commitment they will not seek a nuclear weapon, and they will not seek the tools that will enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. This just is so crazy to me, because it's like, we have many nuclear weapons. Who the fuck are we to tell other countries they're not allowed to have nuclear weapons? We are the only country that's ever used a nuclear weapon, and as chat lovingly informed me, when we first started talking about this issue 40 days ago, they don't even want a nuclear weapon. If I was them, I'd be wanting 6,000 nuclear weapons. I'd be like, how many does the United States have? Yeah, I'll take double that. If I was them, that's what I would be wanting. And they apparently don't even fucking want one. They're just like enriching uranium to use for energy and infrastructure. It's absolutely wild that we think we have the right to police other people's nuclear activities. Do we see, is not Real's demand was full Hezbollah disarmament insufficient to them? No, if that makes sense. That's fucking wild. Lord Oxium, I'm losing my mind. This is still in the line the U.S. uses against Iran when they aren't even developing one. Yeah, that blew my mind. Because I was like, big deal. If they want to let them have them, fuck it. And then everyone in Twitch stream chat was like, no, you don't understand. They do not even want one. And I was like, because I was just thinking in me brain, in which case I would want many. I would want several. I would want so many nuclear weapons if I was Iran, but they're better than me. And I think really, look, as an American, what this whole situation with Iran has really showed is that they are better than me, personally, as an individual. They have a higher moral compass than I do. They are way better at propaganda than I am. That's for sure. And that's given me a lot to think about, you know? Real Georgius, do we think this has anything to do with big oil companies in the United States being greedy? Like maybe we don't want them developing renewable energy. I mean, I think it has everything to do with us being greedy and us wanting to control oil there. And I think it's just a pretext would be my guess. That's the sales pitch, but I don't know. I think it's just the sales pitch. Does anybody else in the chat have thoughts about that or want to weigh in? Iran complained with IAEA, unlike shit real. Apparently, IAEA leaked info about Iran scientists to shit real. And back evil gay people, what's going on? Piss talk's going well. Nuclear isn't renewable either. It's just a lot cleaner and more efficient than petroleum. Yeah, so I think, and again, I think that the interest the United States has in oil is finance capital based, right? If you go back to our streams where we were talking about imperialism and what it really is and how it's the exploitation of finance capital. And we talk about how the United States, it's not like we need oil. We have an oil surplus, but we need our oil companies to be performing well because we have fictitious financial products that revolve around the performance of these companies, and that gives us our interest in securing oil and controlling oil. The petrodollar, that in itself is a finance capital based kind of idea that we're fighting to uphold here. So it really is financial in motivation, not even resource motivated. It's very, very interesting. So I don't think it matters to us what the energy is. We're just like, we got oil companies and they need that to post big profit. Let's go. And post big profit is necessary because we developed 185 fictitious capital based products around this idea of them doing well or whatever. So the qualifying adverb quickly may be significant since under one interpretation, enrichment at 3.67% purity, the maximum purity level set in Barack Obama's 2015 nuclear deal, leaves Iran a long way from nuclear weapon grade purity. Iran's practical capacity to enrich uranium is currently zero due to previous U.S. attacks on its nuclear sites. So the debate about the right to enrich is largely theoretical and one of national sovereignty. Yes, Mr. Anna Wintour. What is less theoretical is the immediate future of the Strait of Hormuz, the poison pill handed to the world by the Trump team's inability to imagine Iran's response to an attack that it said would last a few days. Now, you guys remember when this started, what did I say? I said if it's not over in 2 weeks, it's going to last 10 years. That's my assessment. I don't think we're getting out of this anytime soon. But I might be wrong because Donald Trump might be so embarrassed he might just claim success and walk out. But I think his ego is so big, I don't know if it will let him do that. At the moment, Iran is picking and choosing the nationality of the ships going through the strait. On Saturday, according to Tanker Tracker, great name. Tanker Tracker? Fantastic name. 2 million barrels of Iraqi oil and 4 million barrels of Saudi oil went through the strait. Ad hoc permissions on a grace and favor basis may give Iran a new economic and diplomatic weapon, but it is not a sustainable basis on which to conduct global trade. It is kind of funny, though. It is kind of funny to be like, you? Yes. You? No. Iran is acting like a bouncer at a nightclub who's only letting hot girls in. And I really am into that. I like that. It's nothing like tanky.org, but Tanker Tracker is pretty good. A Tanky Tracker site, a scoreboard of what theory you've read. Wow. Yes, I do. Josatar, I have them on my to-do list, actually. Yes. Today, I probably won't get around to it because not only do I have to do my normal work day, but it's also David's birthday. So I have to wrap up at 6 p.m. tonight. And David and I are going to try to record the second part of the Yugoslavia episode on my lunch break. We're having a day. We're having a day today. We have a very, very full day. Yeah, today's David's birthday. Yes. Today is David's birthday. So we're going to do a little bit of work. And then we're going to have a little birthday dinner drinky thing. Yeah, it's going to be nice. I guess David's an Aries. I don't know what that means, Carmen Duggan. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. David on stream soon. I know, I should ask David. I should ask. But yes. And I'm going to fix the tank so it rolls the right way. I got it all still to do. Birthday talk's going well. Very well. So I do love this, that Iran is just picking and choosing by hand who stays and who goes. Sachet away kind of vibes. But it says, for one thing, Iran simply does not have the administrative apparatus to impose selective tariffs. They don't have enough people to make this standard doing business. There's not enough bouncers at the door to the club, you know? Like, they don't have enough people to really be like, yes, no, maybe. You wait over there. Yes, you get in there. They like don't have enough guys. Very, very funny. So So this would have to be done in conjunction with Oman, also on the other side of the strait. But it is hard for Iran to give up its new weapon since it has become the source of its salvation in this war. Mohammad Taghi Nagdali, a member of the Iranian parliament, said, "The Strait of Hormuz is something beyond the atomic bomb for us, an atomic bomb that operates continuously on a global level and demonstrates the strategic depth of the Islamic Republic." I mean, kind of true, actually. That's interesting. He said the options were a return to war or keeping the bone stuck in the throat of the world. Iran's deep problems have not evaporated. Inflation is heading for 3 figures. A way has to be found to lift the internet blackout, or business will fold and civil society will lose patience. The country remains cut off and its leadership under threat of assassination at any point. Surviving for Iran so far is a stunning achievement, but survival, like patriotism, might not be enough. Oh, wow. Okay. And then they want us to give them money because times are unsettling, and I'm not going to do that. So this is what happened over the weekend. While we were all having our lovely weekends, while I was playing Tropico 6 all weekend with my loving, adoring partner, you know, this is what was happening in the world. Benjamin, Mimi Poo Poo, Madeline is 1 hour away from developing nuclear capabilities. Maybe we can have 2 tanks. Maybe we can make a pink tank. That would be cute. So that leads us here. What is the naval blockade and how would it work in the Strait of Hormuz? This is the United States going full pirate mode. The United States is mad. We couldn't end a war we started in 21 hours. So we are lashing out and going full pirate mode at the Strait of Hormuz. And let's hear what we got to talk about here. A U.S. military blockade of maritime traffic entering and leaving Iranian ports began at 1400 GMT on Monday. I'm not going to pretend like I know what General Mountain Time is. I know is it General Mountain Time? It began today. It began early this morning. All right? I'm not a time zone expert here. So the U.S. says ships coming or going from elsewhere would be allowed to pass through the Strait of Hormuz, a critical waterway Iran effectively closed in response to U.S.-Israeli strikes. Oh, Greenwich Mean Time. It's BBC. I forgot they're British. My bad. Is it Greenwich? Greenwich Mean Time. Greenwich? You can take for each pride flag color. General Mountain Time. That's what we call it here. We have GMT. It's General Mountain Time here in the United States, though. It's real. I swear it's a real thing. We have our own GMT. We have an American GMT. Greenwich. Greenwich. This Greenwich exists. She's setting the fucking clocks over in England. I don't know what you guys got going on. Anna Wintour brothers over there talking to her. And you're all sitting around going, in it. Right? Yes. So it comes after negotiators from both sides failed to reach a deal to end the war, which began on February 28th, but is currently under a 2-week truce. U.S. President Donald Trump has said direct talks with Iran and Pakistan failed because Iran was unwilling to give up its nuclear ambitions, but a U.S. official said there had been a much longer list of disagreements. Oh, shocking. Donald Trump lying? Surprising. Including on Iran's control of the strait. You know, the thing that's really occurring to me here in the United States, the difference between our conservatives and our liberals is that, like, Donald Trump is a worse liar than Kamala Harris was, than Gavin Newsom is, than Joe Biden was. He's just bad at lying. Like, he's not good at it. And I think he's like, I don't have to be good at it, so who cares? But I think that really is the crux of the biggest difference between them. Mamala 2028 was a better liar. And Hillary Clinton, kind of a bad liar. She didn't actually lie. I think Hillary Clinton's problem was she was too mask off. She was just like, Iran? Oh yeah, we're going to fucking kill them. I'll kill them all. I don't care. I'll kill them right now. And everyone was like, oh, love that, right? So I think that's it. Yeah, and he does speak the truth more often. He's literally just like, yeah, they got CIA agents there. We're doing a coup. What? So what about it? How should we handle the animated tank emoji? More pink tanks. Okay. More pink tanks. Got it. So here's what we know about the U.S. announcement that we're doing naval piracy. What has Trump said about the blockade? Trump wrote on social media on Sunday that the U.S. was going to start blockading, all caps, by the way. Which is really any and all ships trying to... ships also capitalized for some reason. You know what? Go for it, Queen. Whatever you want. Trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. I have also instructed our Navy to seek and interdict every vessel in international waters that has paid a toll to Iran. No one who pays an illegal toll will have safe passage on the high seas. He added that the U.S. will also begin destroying the mines he said Iran has laid in the strait. Any Iranian who fires at us or at peaceful vessels will be blown to hell, he continued. Trump said that at some point, an agreement on free passage will be reached, but Iran is not allowed that to happen by merely saying there may be a mine out there somewhere that nobody knows about but them. Trump talks like an off-brand Muppet. He kind of looks like an off-brand Muppet, too. It's very weird capitalization. It's very interesting. So, he added another post that Iran promised to open the Strait of Hormuz, and they knowingly failed to do so. But yeah, they said that if their negotiation terms were met, right? Is that accurate? Didn't they say that? We'll double check. As he promised, they better begin the process of getting this international waterway open and fast. It's in their waters. It's in their territory. They control it. It's only international because they let you. Like, what? So, how would a blockade work in practice? The U.S. Navy Commander's Handbook on Naval Operations Law from 2022 defines a blockade as a belligerent operation to prevent vessels and or aircrafts of all states, enemy and neutral, from entering or exiting specified ports, airfields, or coastal areas belonging to, occupied by, or under the control of an enemy state. Trump initially said the U.S. Navy would begin the process of blockading the strait effective immediately. The U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, later said its forces would begin implementing the blockade at 1400 Greenwich time on Monday. A note sent by CENTCOM to mariners seen by the BBC said the blockade will encompass the entirety of the Iranian coastline to include but not limited to ports and oil terminals and applies to all vessel traffic regardless of flag. It said neutral vessels are being granted a grace period to depart Iranian ports that will expire over the blockade once the blockade begins. So what is the implication here? That they're just going to start blowing them up? What does this mean, a grace period? What? I don't really understand this. Greenwich time. Okay, so after which time, any vessel entering or departing the blockaded area, oh, here we get the consequence, without authorization is subject to interception, diversion, and capture. Okay. We're just going to start capturing ships from everywhere in the world. Greenwich time. Based Greenwich. We love her. Greenwich better than all other witches. If you guys aren't careful, you're going to get a Greenwich emote. That's for my Brits, because I love you. Millennial heart. You guys are going to get your own little Green Witch. Just for you. Just for you. Yes. Okay. Groin itch. Brody's might be better. CENTCOM added that it would, however, permit passage of humanitarian shipments, including food, medical supplies, and other essential goods, subject to inspection. Trump said that other countries would be involved in blockading the strait, but did not say which ones. The BBC understands that the UK will not be involved in the blockade. Okay. Trump also told Fox News that NATO had offered to help clean out the strait. What did you mean by that, NATO? What? Oh, it's no worse than how Americans pronounce Birmingham. You guys see it? It's not Birmingham. I got two things happening here. Oh, the mines, maybe? Okay. I don't love that clean out is in quotes, if I'm being honest. This kind of feels like I'm reading The Mob, like talking to each other. You want me to clean it out? You want me to clean out the strait? Like, what? Birmingham. Adding that it would be free to use again in not too long. Okay. NATO has always been on some weird ass pirate shit. Greenwich, Birmingham. The Green Witch brings you the burning ham. Yeah, that feels right. So Trump said the U.S. would bring in minesweepers and that the U.K., a member of NATO, would too. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has previously... What did you guys actually call him? Did you guys have a nickname for him? I'm so sorry about the Green Witch thing. I need you now, British chat. You have a funny nickname for this man, don't you? Kid Starmer. Okay, yeah. All right, that was it. Kid Starmer. Thank you. Thank you. I apologize for mispronouncing the mighty territories of your lovely people. Birmingham. Greenwich. Thank you. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has previously said British military mine hunting systems were already in the region. A UK government spokesperson said, we are urgently working with France, and other partners to put together a wide coalition to protect freedom of navigation. However, Sir Keir said the UK would not join the US blockade. 3 legal experts in the US told the BBC that a blockade could violate maritime law. When also questioned whether a blockade, which is enforced militarily, would violate the current ceasefire agreement. I mean, if you're firing, yeah. So why would the U.S. blockade the strait? The strait's geography has allowed Iran to use it as leverage throughout this war, selectively preventing vessels from passing through the narrow waterway and spiking oil prices in the process. Tehran has been charging huge sums of money for some vessels to pass through. By closing the strait, Trump could cut off a significant source of revenue for the Iranian government, though this could risk sending oil and gas prices even higher. He told Fox News, quote, we're not going to let Iran make money on selling oil to people that they like and not people that they don't like. Isn't that the whole thing about capitalism? Isn't that the free market? Are you just allowed to do whatever the fuck you want? Like... Donald Trump told Fox News, we're not going to let Iran do capitalism. That is so funny. Saying the goal instead was letting all or nothing. Oh, you want to control the market. Donald Trump, breaking news. Donald Trump tells Fox News we need to control the market. Oh, all right. So he's like, it's got to be all or nothing. Passing through this crucial shipping channel. Okay. Yeah, they're like, damn it, Iran, if you don't centrally plan this economy, we're coming in there. We're going to do piracy on all your mines. So analysts have suggested that the U.S. president's statement was aimed at building pressure on Iran to make a deal on American terms. Republican Congressman Mike Turner told CBS that the blockade was a means to force resolution to the situation. The president, by saying we're not just going to let them decide who gets through, is certainly calling all of our allies and everyone to the table. But Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, told CNN, I don't understand how blockading the strait is somehow going to push the Iranians into opening it. What would the impact be? In the near term, Trump's threat to blockade the strait will only affect a handful of vessels that are still navigating the waterway, shipping expert Lars Jensen told the BBC. Now, look, I'm just going to say this. Say what you will about the British, the fine people of Britain. We don't have people named Lars anymore in the United States. So you guys are still making Larses, I think. I think you're still creating men named Lars. And I respect that about you. I respect that. Yeah, we killed all ours in the Revolutionary War and we never made more. Wait, some of them existed in the 1980s and got into hair metal bands, but that's it. Those are your two options. You died in the Revolutionary War or you joined a hair metal band in the 80s and then we never made more of them again. They did not close their Lars factories. Yes, Lars Ulrich was the final Lars in the United States. We never got another one. Everyone was like, It's a Lars art. Lars Fredrickson from Rancid. Oh. I am forgetting him. Trying, anyway. That's true, though. But how old is he? Rancid. They were around in the 80s, weren't they? Or did they start in the 90s? Lars has become a they-them name. We're taking it back. The Unbies are taking back the name Lars. The good Lars. We have a Larry. He's Canadian. That's true. He's Canadian. We claim him, though. North American Larry. And also, it's like... Look, I'm just gonna... Young. Well, let's look at him young. He was a beautiful young man. Maybe that's why. He was very beautiful. Look at him. He could be honorary us. Check out the Larses. Lars Fredrickson, though, I don't remember him looking delightful. I don't remember being delighted by his countenance. You know? Do you guys remember being delighted by... No. I'm not delighted by his countenance. This is actually kind of good. He kind of looks cool here. He looks okay. Oh, he's got the Iron Cross. That's like a real Iron Cross, too. It's not just like a Maltese cross, a flared cross. He's like, let's go, you know? I'm just saying. They don't make Larses like they used to. That's all I'm saying. You know? Look, I was a teenager once. You think I didn't listen to Rancid? You think I didn't listen to Rancid? I was a teenager in the year 2001. I listened to Rancid. I'm like you. I'm not better than you, right? I'm no better than you. All right, so in the near term, Trump's threat is only going to affect a handful of vessels, according to Lars Jensen of the BBC. Joe Zachar, you're too Gen Z for this discussion. See, exactly. Do you know why? Because we stopped making Larses. There's no Gen Z Lars for us to even mention. The point stands, right? Right? If this is actually done by Americans, it will have a very tiny trickle of vessels. In the greater scheme of things, it doesn't really change anything, he said. She rinsed in all my Lars until I'm prone to her. Jensen, chief executive of Vespucci Maritime. I'm sorry. Lars Jensen of Vespucci Maritime. There's something about the naming. There's something about the naming procedures over there. I say Trump's threat of preventing safe passage for any ships paying tolls to Iran would also have little impact, as any company doing so would already face sanctions for paying the regime. Most shipping companies will continue to wait and see whether there's a tentative peace agreement and whether that might hold, Jensen said. If that occurred, a slow ramping up of shipping may resume. Okay, so what's happening here? Very, very obviously what's happening here is that Donald Trump is mad that Iran gets a super secret weapon that Donald Trump can't have. Iran is like, that's fine, we control the Strait of Hormuz, do whatever you want. We control where all the oil comes from, and you are obsessed with petrodollars, so this is going to end well for us. And Donald Trump is like, I want my own Strait of Hormuz to control, but he doesn't have one. So he's like, I'm going to try to pretend like I can control that one too. And it doesn't seem like it's going to work in the United States' favor, right? The Brits, I think, have to export Larses at this point. We have a Lars deficit in our Lars economy. They need to export them to us. It's China. What's it, China? Let's see what else info we got about this. Strait of Hormuz updates. That just went into effect today. So let's see if we got anything else. We have live updates going on. Let's see. 1 minute ago, we have an update from CBS News, who says, asked whether the goal of blockading the Strait of Hormuz is to force Iran back to the negotiating table or reopen the strait so energy costs comes down, President Trump told reporters on Monday, maybe everything. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He just wanted a show of force. Both of these things certainly, and more, Trump said. He's like, yeah, sure. And other stuff too. Bro's just out here saying shit. We can't let a country blackmail or extort the world. We're literally the United States. We're literally the United States. Okay. Because that's what they're doing. They're really blackmailing the world. We're not going to let that happen. They were not doing anything until we launched an unprovoked war against them for absolutely no reason on the planet. So the president did not share details about his plans for further talks with Iran, but he said, we've been called by the other side since negotiations fell apart in Islamabad. They'd like to make a deal. Very, very badly. I don't think I believe him. He is saying the truth. This is true. Like here, he is saying the truth, kind of, right? He's like, I don't know, maybe everything, both of those things, maybe more. He literally is like, we didn't get that far. You wonder if he's ever been briefed on Iran or like if he knows where it is on the map. This is my impression of how Donald Trump like deals with foreign policy. Because do you guys remember we were talking about Greenland? For those of you who are always in the stream. Do you remember we were talking about Greenland and it turns out that some random rich guy who was like the heir to the Estee Lauder fortune was like, you should buy Greenland. And then it was just in his head. He's like, yeah, I should buy Greenland. I think he just gets like an idea put in his head by a random rich dude and it makes him feel like it would be good for him and he would be important if he pulled this off. So then he's like, I'm all in on this stupid idea and I don't know how feasible it is or isn't, but like I'm going to do it because a random rich guy told me it would make me special. And I think this is literally his approach to foreign policy. So I think he's like, everybody wants to go to war with Iran, but nobody has. I'm just going to fucking do it, right? Everybody wants to take control of Cuba back, but nobody has. I'm just going to fucking do it. And that was why, obviously, he did the Venezuela thing, we understand. By any means necessary, says Iran Uno reversed sanctions on all the empire's vessels. Suddenly, Saudi, UAE, and Qatar were effectively sanctioned, and everyone downstream of them, including the empire itself. There isn't a plan here beyond how Trump planned for casinos, controlled demolition, while he somehow gets paid for it. Exactly. Yes. Big got muted for Larsing too hard. Love the updates from the chat. Yeah, he is. He's very YOLO. He's very ding dong, and. It doesn't, and the funny thing is that the American public has been so ding-dongified, it doesn't matter. And that's the wild thing to look at. You're like, it doesn't matter how ridiculous this man is, how silly he is, how low his approval rating is. Nothing is going to stop the capitalism show. And I would like hope that for the American public, that our public would wake up and be like, look, if this guy only has 13% approval rating, he's not representing what people want. Nobody actually likes him. Maybe this whole system doesn't work, but they won't. They're very, very passive at this stage anyway. They haven't sufficiently reached class consciousness to like get to that point of realization. They're just like, well, this is how it goes. You just always have some blabbering idiot in charge of things, creating havoc and killing children in other countries, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it really is the state that a lot of the general American kind of working class is in at the moment. Yeah, ding dong, we've got to take your oil. Right. Yeah, Project 2025, during all of this also, I mean, even like, what's very, very interesting about the Heritage Foundation, who's the creators of Project 2025 out here in the United States, if you're not familiar, they're like a lobbying group. They're a special interest group. They're not actually the government. And they're backed by a lot of rich people. And originally they had provided some like opposition to Donald Trump because they wanted to do conservatism in what they perceived to be a smarter and more strategic and tactical way. And during Donald Trump's first presidency, they realized the Republican Party would not be viable if they continued down this path. So they literally fired everybody on their team that was anti-Trump and like staffed it with pro-Trumpers. And they are literally writing a lot of the policy that Trump is using without fully understanding the implications of it. But the thing about Project 2025 that I always told people is that Project 2025 is nothing new. Project 2025 was the 2025 edition of something called the Mandate for Leadership that the Heritage Foundation puts out every single election cycle. And their hope is that a Republican will win and they will hand it to them and be like, implement these policies. And they started doing this with the Reagan administration, and they do one every single election cycle. Every 4 to 5 years, one comes out. So Project 2025 was just the name of the 2025 Mandate for Leadership, which has happened every 4 years since Reagan era here in the USA. And the Republicans and the Democrats both implement policies from the Mandates for Leadership. Barack Obama's healthcare plan out here, it's not even a healthcare plan, really. Let's call it. It's a health insurance plan, right? Because it didn't give people healthcare. It gave some people the right to healthcare access, but not really. That came from the Mandate for Leadership. That was the Republicans' approach to healthcare that would increase profits for health insurance companies. And he took it from that. So these Mandates for Leadership, this Project 2025 stuff, this is nothing new. And that's why I so resented the Democratic Party out here trying to use it as some sort of scary marketing pitch, when it's like, this is, Project 2025 is not new. That's business as usual, babes. That's the country we've been living in, right? And by reducing it to just Project 2025 and not talking about it as a consistent issue, the Mandate for Leadership, and how Republicans and Democrats both pull policy from it, they were attempting to make it look like this once-in-a-lifetime great evil that needed to be defeated. And my concern is that after this, they will continue to market it that way. Well, that was just Project 2025. And it's like, okay, well, what about Project 2029, Project 2030? It's going to come out again. They always have, which is very, very interesting. Yeah, they've been doing things like Project 2025, Haley's Rainbow Library says, for decades. This time it's just been more and more successful in the media as a scare tactic. Exactly. Because people don't understand Christian nationalism. And the thing about the Heritage Foundation, which was always very, very interesting, is that they realized they could get donations from average, everyday Christian stay-at-home conservative women if they made social issues a part of their political and economic policy. Up to that point, the Republican Party had not been super big on social issues. And everybody in the country had been racist, right? So Republicans and Democrats alike had employed racism in their social policy, or as a social element of their political and economic policies. But what I mean when I say that they realized they could implement social issues is they realized they could weaponize things like abortion and the Bible specifically. So they went down this path of trying to appeal to religious stay-at-home moms who would get targeted with phone calls in the daytime when they were bored, when their kids were in naps, whatever, and would donate just $5, $10, $20. And they would up this list to more and more and more people. But they realized to appeal to these women, they would have to take these very like Christian fundamentalist stances socially. So it would be like, okay, we want to give rich guys a tax cut. How do we get not only convince average everyday Americans this is a good idea, but get money from them to support it? We'll also say that we want to ban abortion. And this is where abortion really started to get tied into like the right-wing rhetoric. That came from the Heritage Foundation. That started with that. It's very, very interesting. So, I don't know. Very funny. It's not losing focus. I mean, I don't know. Fascinating. Bye, Melme. Okay. So, does anybody else have any final thoughts about the Strait of Hormuz thing? Any questions about it? What does this mean? What does this look like? I mean, it still feels like the United States is losing the war and Iran's not that interested in negotiating with us, and we are just trying to save face, right? Did we talk about Hungary yet? We did a little overview of Hungary, which is just basically, we can do that for a few minutes. We'll look at it again, the Orban story. We have Politico.eu going on here. This is an article of how Orban lost the Hungarian election. And it's interesting because my general take on Orban is that he was anti-communist. We know that. He was actually responsible for bringing about the downfall of communism in Hungary. And we know the transition out of communism into capitalism was very, very bad for people, hard for people. And he was a part of that in Hungary. And, nowadays, though, he is written off by liberals in the West as the problem with him is that he's too into, like, Russia and China, which is an interesting thing to try to reconcile with this because he's very, very anti-communist. China, obviously, communist. By any means necessary, has the price shock from the Strait closing hit the United States yet? JP Morgan says Gulf oil delivery stopped reaching the United States April 15th. I'm not sure. Like, full disclosure, I don't drive a lot. I work from home and I walk a lot. Like, a lot. So I have a car. My car, though, is a hybrid. I will say gas in LA is like $6.60 per gallon right now, I think. So it's pretty high, but I fill my tank up with gas like once every like 4 months. Like, I'm not a driver. Yeah, it's going to be really, really extreme, I'm sure. It's going to be like the 70s probably, or, when the gas crisis hit. So I think people are talking about it. People feel it. People are like, oh God, but it's not something that's super relevant in my day-to-day life, unfortunately. And like David takes the bus everywhere, right? David takes public transit only. My partner has a gnarly commute to work every day. They have a hybrid car, but their gas is always a thing. So there's like, it's just like more gas money or whatever. It's always expensive, So yeah, how walkable is LA? Certain neighborhoods can be very walkable. The way LA usually works is you pick a neighborhood that you want to live in, and that's like where you live, like in your neighborhood. It's almost like a little village, which is funny because my neighborhood's called Atwater Village. So I don't leave Atwater Village often. The only exception would be if I'm going out, like if I want to go like to a party or like a show or whatever. But I have not been socializing very much in the past year and a half now because I got put on friend timeout because I made friends with too many weirdos. So my core friend group was like, you're on friend timeout. So I haven't been socializing as much. But typically, that's really the only time to leave my neighborhood. And I honestly wouldn't even have to leave my neighborhood if I didn't want to. We have really good music venues in my neighborhood. We have bars. Like, we wouldn't have to do that. But, LA is more bikeable. Like, I live next to the LA River, and there's a bike path that takes you everywhere. Like, I could ride my bike to multiple venues, multiple parts of town, all pretty easily on the bike path. So certain neighborhoods can be, depending on where you live. But we don't have a big public transportation system. It's kind of hard. And people who take the bus always say that my house is pretty hard to get to off the bus. It's a little annoying. It's not so bad. Like, I take the bus sometimes from my house. Like, if I want to go get a coffee and I don't want to drive, I'll walk, a quarter of a mile to the bus stop and jump on and go get coffee or whatever. You live a 1 hour walk from the nearest bus stop? That's crazy. That's wild. Wow. Funny how similar it sounds to New York. Yeah, I mean, like, you guys know I have a partner of, 16 years who lives in New York. And it is kind of similar. Like, one of my good friends moved to New York again recently. Her family's from there, but she moved back. And it's hard sometimes because I'll be like, oh my God, we're both in New York at the same time. Let's hang out. Ah! And then it's like, oh, but you live, in Manhattan. I live in Bed-Stuy. Where are we going to go? I don't it's, hard. It feels very, very far. Your nearest bus stop is a 3-hour walk. That's wild. Wild. Yeah. Skateboarding down the river trail. Hey, I'm around. That's all I'm saying. If you live in LA, I'm around. But yeah, so that's kind of the public transit situation here. So the gas prices, I'm just like, yep, gas continues to be expensive. But, I wouldn't notice. My lifestyle is not very oil-centric, right? Hagelsberg Dialecticals, do you live in the United States? That is pretty common for a 3-hour bus, or to just areas to have absolutely no access to public transit at all. You have public transportation and buses everywhere in Mexico. Yeah, I mean, I like taking public transportation in Mexico. And I'll even do it, if I'm in Mexico and I'm like, oh, I want to go to this thing or I want to go here. I'll take, not the buses that go in the cities, but the buses that go in between cities. And I always love taking those. And the vibes are always good, too. It's you get on, people get on the buses and they've got, their chickens they're bringing home from the market and shit, and they live out in the country. And you're like, oh, yeah, this bus just, goes through the country. And, if you're in the country, you can take a bus still. And I always thought it was really cool in Mexico. If you wanted to go to the PSL Weekly organizing meeting in your area, it's a 3.5-hour bus ride from where I am to Oakland. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty wild. And then you have to come back. So gnarly. Hagels is in Brazil. Okay, Brazilian comrade. Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, in the United States, public transportation just basically doesn't exist for anybody outside of a major city area. And even in our cities, it's not great. San Francisco, where I lived in, had really good public transit. LA, worse. Not bad. I have lived in LA without a car before. If I couldn't afford to fix my car and it broke down, I would just not have a car here. I'm not going to buy another car. My car's paid off. I don't have a car payment. I'm not going to. I tanked my credit score this year. I'm just fuck it. I wouldn't do it, So it is doable, but it's not easy like it is in San Francisco or New York. Yeah. Portland has good public transit. Yes. Boise, Idaho, non-existent. 4 bus lines. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Wild. Okay. So, yeah, to just touch back on Orban, I would like to learn more about Orban and why liberals hate him so much. Because he was anti-communist. This should be their guy, right? I know why people in Hungary don't like him so much, but I'm not sure why the liberal Western media hates him so much. This is what's interesting to me, and I would like to learn more about this. China has issued a strong warning, Elmira Marx says, to U.S. reinstating that China has an energy agreement with Iran and ships will not be intercepted. Chinese Defense Ministry, Chinese ships continue to move in and out of waters of the Strait of Hormuz. We have trade and energy agreements with Iran, which we will respect and abide by. We expect others not to interfere in our affairs. Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, and it is opened it to us. Yes, thank you for sharing that. Somebody was asking about China updates, and I forgot. I got a little ADHD with it, sorry. But yeah, that makes sense. And that's why what the United States is doing is you don't have any legal grounds to interfere with how Iran is doing trade to other people, right? But it's wartime style activities. It's war activities, right? They want to basically make it so that they're in total control of Iran's territory, and that's what happens in war, I guess. But okay, wait. Orban was both pro-Trump and pro-Russia. Interesting. Very interesting. The pro-Trump, pro-Russia thing is very, very wild. Because Trump's not even pro-Russia. And what's interesting, too, is how the liberal crowd will take Trump doing basic diplomacy with places like Russia or North Korea and be like, they're best friends, they're in love with each other, they're obsessed with each other. And I'm like, are you serious? Those bitches are fighting all the time. Like Putin and Trump are fighting constantly in the media. It's just wild. But liberals are very, very short-sighted on this. Okay, we have the link from all my remarks. Let's see. I'm going to open it. Do we have an actual source on this, though? Global surveillance. Chinese Defense Ministry. I'm going to look up the actual tweet. Where does this come from? This is supposed to be the quote, right? I'm not seeing this anywhere, though. Where did this come from? Does anybody have the original source? Is it not Elvira Marx? Elmira Marx. Yes. You were talking about Ash about that. You did fully believe Trump and Putin were allies pre-2016. I think I was too bad at media analysis back then. I mean, yeah. And they would just literally just be like talking to each other, right? It'd be very like normal things. But that's the same reason why people think that Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump are best friends. And you look at the Epstein files and Donald Trump is like desperately trying to overthrow Kim Jong-un and replace him. It's also this affect Donald Trump has as well, where Donald Trump is like, we're best friends, we're the greatest friends, I love that guy, we're great. And that's like how he talked about Zoran Mamdani, for example. Like, that's just how he talks too, which I think makes it hard especially in 2016 where you weren't quite used to his cadence and how he talked yet. He just says this shit. He's like, everybody loves me, I'm best friends with everybody, everybody's great. And he like literally hates them and wants them dead, right? Orban's pro-Israel. Interesting. This is interesting. Israel's opposition lauds Magyar for ousting Orban. Pro-EU Magyar. Okay, so this is why, I guess. So probably Orban was more insular, and Times of Israel is saying, yeah, Kimi and Donnie are not gal pals, no. Hungary's prime minister-elect vows return to ICC, but stresses special relationship with Israel. So this is an Israel guy too, but he wants to be closer to the EU, I'm guessing, and that's why everyone in the EU is excited. Hungarian politics have taken on a very Dem versus Republican lens on politics, wherein Orban's Eurosceptic, far-right, Christianocratic political party shifted the Overton window in Hungary to be anybody but Orban. The party they elected is literally Fidesz-led. Okay, got it. That's good to know. That's good to know. Go to the endorsement section of the Hungarian parliament election. Where is it? Where are we looking? Endorsements. Okay, Orban. Oh, I get it. All I needed to see was Javier Milei. Okay, I see. Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, got it. Donald Trump. Okay, got it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so then what I want to know is Hungarian National Council of Transylvania. My partner roasted me the other day because I realized I didn't know what Transylvania was. I was like, it's a real place, but is it like a city? Is it a state? What is it? And this was immensely funny to my partner. So I have no clue what Transylvania is. I'm like, I only know Vampire Story. Yeah. I had no clue. I didn't know. I was like, it's not a country. I would have heard more about it, right? I was like, I don't know what Transylvania is, and I can't pretend like I do. There's so much. There's so much in the world to know about. And some of it misses you. Like Transylvania. Sometimes I'm going to spin it. I'm going to be like, I grew up with a goth libertarian mom. I have Transylvania trauma. I can't learn about Transylvania. That's very triggering to me. So maybe that's why. Maybe next time think about that. Think about that next time. Okay, so this is the guy who won Magyar Oh, you guys aren't getting the updated screen share. Hold on. I'm trying to update the screen share to show you. 1 second. Where is it? That's the audio mixer. Video capture. Okay, yeah, everything got moved around. Why won't it restart it? Can you guys see it now? No? Oh, I know why. Oh my god, this is so annoying. I can't show you if it opens in the OBS dock. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we'll go look at this here. Now you guys can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so this is the people who endorsed each candidate. So Orban was endorsed by Javier Milei and Netanyahu and Donald Trump, right? Now, I want to look at... Now, and also Transylvania. Also the Hungarian Alliance of Transylvania. So, do with that what you will. I'm just going to put that out there. And we're going to look at the... Oh my god, where'd he go? Here he goes. So, Magyar is who won, and Magyar is endorsed by the former Prime Minister of the Czech Republic and the former Prime Minister of Slovakia. You can see it now? Yeah? Yes. This is crazy. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get a sense of this guy. He's like their Democrat, though, based on what people are saying. Hungary's Green Party. Union of European Federalists. Members of the European Parliament. He's an EU guy. So he's an EU guy. And the EU and the United States are breaking up. So, J.D. Vance also went to Hungary to campaign for Orban, which everyone knows is a death sentence since he killed the last pope. Wow. That's right. I forgot about that pope thing. Okay, got it. Got it. So, yeah, Magyar is the EU guy. Yes, we got it. That's what's going on there. Okay. All right, guys, I got to jump off. I got to do a little bit of volunteer work before David and I record the second part of the Yugoslavia podcast for you. So that's going to be interesting, I think. If you guys listen to part 1, part 2 should be coming out later today. If you haven't listened to the podcast, it's all history-based. So it is Pick Me Up, I'm Scared, and you should be able to find it everywhere. And right now we're doing Yugoslavia. I'll tell David you guys said happy birthday. So we're going to send you all to Raid Larry. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And we're going to be back tomorrow. We'll talk about more current events. So if your story didn't win today, you can resubmit it tomorrow. Remember. Oh, my God. I can't even do the raid because of the new doc. It's making me log in. Is there a mod who wants to do the raid? I've lost all my modding powers. I have to re-log in through this new plugin thing I made. Ah! Yeah, a mod can do a raid. So just do /raid, and then we always do Larry, so leaping_Larry. Big Gawko, I don't trust you. We need the chaos elements in the chat, though. We need a little bit. Revenge of OBS. Okay, does anybody else want to do it? I can log in if not. I just, don't remember my passwords for anything ever. No, Big Gawko. We need an actual mod. Yeah, just like that. Hegel's Big Dialecticals, yeah. Yep. And then a space, and then the username, leaping_Larry. See if it goes. Yes, just as Smash Ultra said it. What is this Gengar situation? That's cute. Is it Gengar? Ugh. If I stretch, my see-through shirt's gonna get me. I gotta go like this. My shirt's too see-through for the internet today. They're mad. Gengar. Chinese spy balloon. Yeah, it's too booba. It's a long sleeve shirt, though. It's very conservative. Yes, yeah, it's okay. You know, you tried, but it didn't go through. You don't think it worked? Okay, hold on. Let me log in. Not users in chat. How do I log in? Thank you. You know, I think the shirt's okay. It's okay. It's one that I designed that I was like, am I ever going to wear this? So that's why I forced myself to try to wear it. And it is cute. I think I don't have the right bottoms for it, though. You know? No, not join Twitch today. What? No. Jesus. OBS, why? Okay, we're getting there. We're logging in. We're logging into this plugin I installed. So I can have chat. Okay. Submit. Okay. Ready? I think I have it. Did it work? I created the raid. It says it. I'm not seeing the raid thing, though. Is it working? I don't think it's working. I don't see it either. I'm going to try again. It says the raid has been created. No. Raid broken. Raid broken. Chat settings. Hold on. 1 second. 1 second. I'm going to do it from my stream manager. I'm going actually on the website. I am going on the website. It's got to work here. It's got to work here. Is it working? There is a raid blockade. No, it's still not working. Maybe Larry's not on. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's what it is. Did we check that? Maybe that's it. Oh, followers only mode. That's what it is, I think. I think it's because Larry's in followers only mode. Okay, is there somebody else we want to do who's not in followers only mode? Anyone? Anyone? We could do Central Committee. We could do Rob Rousseau. We could be DJ Mule. What do you guys think? Is Hugo on? Hugo would be great. I don't think Hugo's on, though. No. Somebody cute. You might have to restart the app to make it work. It's a major update, yeah. The raid of Hormuz. We'll go manually. Oh, you don't think it's that? It's so weird. I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm going to figure this out. For now, just take yourselves manually over to our friend Larry. Go check it out. And I'll try to figure it out. I'm not really sure. But I got to get out of here for today. So, who knows? Who knows? I'm ending now, though. So you guys got to go over there on your own, okay? Are you ready? All right. I'll see you tomorrow.